text field is editing. Insertion point at start. W W E E L L C C O O M M E E space welcome T T O O space 2 shift cap E L L I N N D D space blind.
Have you ever wanted to pick up your iPhone and throw it against the wall like I just did? Well, hang on, there may be hope. This iPhone 101 demo on Dictation might just give you a little bit of help. And while we're talking about helping you enter text into various text fields on your iDevice, check out Jeff Thompson's iPhone 101 presentation on text replacement. You can find that on the free Blind Abilities app. That's 2 words, Blind Abilities, in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, or at www.blindabilities.com. That's our iPhone 101 series. And now, without further ado, let's get started. Hi folks, today our topic is dictation. Many iOS users are migrating to dictation as their preferred method of inputting text into a particular text field. Why? Lots of reasons. The on-screen keyboard is too small and cumbersome. Typing on the on-screen keyboard is slow. For voiceover users in particular, typing is extremely slow, regardless of which method you use. The standard
Typing mode. Standard typing. S S T T A A N N D D A A R R D D
or the touch typing mode.
Typing mode. Touch typing.
But regardless of which method you use, dictation is often preferred as a more convenient and quicker way to input text onto your iPhone. Many users opt to use a Bluetooth keyboard, but Bluetooth keyboards are not always available, they're not always cheap, and they're not always convenient. Many people like to travel light or just can't afford to buy one. I've used dictation for quite a while on my iPhone. I just find that typing is way too slow, no matter how much I practice. I've found that if you find a relatively quiet environment, dictation can be very accurate. I can dictate emails, long and short.
Subject. Text field.
Hamlet soliloquy.
Inserted Hamlet soliloquy. Message body. Text field.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing...
Inserted to be or not to be, that is the question, whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, to take arms against a sea of troubles.
Text messages.
Jeff Thompson. Message. iMessage. Text field.
Yo, Jeffrey, comma, what's cooking? Question mark.
Inserted. Yo, Jeffrey, what's cooking?
You can dictate anywhere in iOS where you can input text. For example, you can go to a Safari search field and you can dictate the website, www.blindabilities.com.
Inserted. www.blindabilities.com.
Or you can dictate the topic for your Google search. How much does an MXL 5000 microphone weigh?
Inserted. How much does an MXL 5000 microphone weigh? Go.
Dictation seems a lot more accurate as well with the later iOS versions. Voice recognition technology is fast developing. Dictation on your iPhone is keeping pace. This podcast is intended to show you how to set up dictation on your device. Not very difficult, but necessary. Hopefully, we can acquaint you with some techniques, some tips and tricks to make dictation faster and easier. Let me also talk here about punctuation, grammar, sentence structure, and composition of your dictated content. People who read your content, whether they're the recipient of an email or a text, or they're reading a post on a website or on Facebook or in Twitter, can often find dictated text to be difficult to understand, particularly if punctuation is not used. So while the focus of this podcast will be on the dictation process, I'll also be inserting standard punctuation in hopes that it might help improve the quality of our dictated products. I also want to talk about how the quality of our content represents us, particularly as blind users. As more and more of us become familiar with screen readers and listening to audio information as opposed to braille reading, our grasp and control over grammar, spelling, sentence structure, syntax, and formatting of our written products becomes less and less important to us. Frankly, I think that that's a mistake. I think that our written products are a direct reflection on us, not only among our blind counterparts, but with our sighted readers as well. I think it is absolutely critical that our sentences are grammatically correct and that our spelling and punctuation are accurate. So take care with your written products. A couple of basic tips. Talk directly into the microphone. Try to keep your iPhone or iPad close to your mouth, not immediately on top of your mouth, so that your breath or the T's or the P's will interfere with the accuracy of your dictation. Dictating indoors is preferable to dictating outdoors. There are 2 microphones at the bottom of the iPhone and a single microphone on iPads located at the top of the device. The iPhone also has a noise-canceling microphone, which does cut out some of the ambient noise if you're in a loud environment. You might find that using Apple earbuds or some other headset with a microphone might provide for a little bit more accurate dictation. Now, before we can do any dictation on our iOS device, we have to enable dictation. We do this in a couple of ways, both of which live in our Settings app. So I'll go into our Settings app.
Settings.
Single finger double tap.
Settings.
Now, the first thing we need to do is be sure that our Siri is enabled. And I'll find Siri further down this screen under Siri and Search.
Siri and search button.
There it is. Single finger double tap.
Selected. Settings. Back button.
Now let's find the 3 areas that will indicate that our Siri has been enabled.
Ask Siri. Heading. Listen for Hey Siri. On.
And that toggle switch is on. I'll flick to the right.
Press home for Siri. On.
Press home for Siri is on.
Allow Siri when locked. On.
And allow Siri when locked is on. Those 3 buttons should be in the on position. Now the next setting we need to check is in our keyboard settings. I'll get out of the Siri screen with a 4-finger touch toward the top of this screen.
Settings. Back button.
Double tap.
Siri and search button.
And the next setting we need to check on is in our general settings, and I'll flick to that.
General button.
Double tap.
Selected. Settings. Back button.
Now we'll be looking for keyboards a little farther down this screen.
Keyboard button.
There it is. Double tap.
General. Back button.
And the setting we need to check here is Enable Dictation. It's a little farther down the screen.
Enable dictation. On.
There it is. Enable Dictation. Be sure that that is in the on position. So now our settings are such that we will be able to dictate. We'll get out of settings and get on with the show. I'll go to my Mail app.
Mail to text field is editing character mode.
Now I've already started a fresh email with nothing on it. So now I'll go to the body of that email and touch.
Message body, text field, double tap to edit.
There you go. And as you heard voiceover hint, double tap to edit.
Insertion point at end.
Now I have set my insertion point. That's another step that you need to be sure to take before you dictate. Set your insertion point in the text field where you want the dictated text to be. Now, as you may know, when we set our insertion point, that reveals an on-screen keyboard at the bottom of the screen. Let's go down and take a look. I'll touch at the bottom of the screen.
Space.
And our dictate button is immediately to the left of the space bar. I'll swipe left once.
Dictate. Double tap to start dictation. 2-finger double tap when finished.
And as you heard voiceover say, double tap to start dictation, 2-finger double tap to finish. Let me dictate an email to Jeff and see how this works. Hey Jeff, I was wondering if we're still on for our podcast interview tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. If so, please let me know. I've been studying the website of our guest, and I'm really excited to speak with him. So let me know if we're still on for tomorrow. Thanks. Pete.
Inserted. Hey Jeff, I was wondering if we're still on for our podcast interview tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. If so, please let me know. I've been studying the website of our guest. I'm really excited to speak with him, so let me know if we're still on for tomorrow. Thanks, Pete.
Well, as you heard, it captured everything I said. But if I'm a reader, if I'm the recipient of this email, all I'm going to hear is a continuous sequence of text with no pauses, nothing else. Not the most pleasant email to receive if you're the reader. So let's try a different approach. I'll cancel this email.
Cancel button. Cancel. Alert. Delete draft button. Delete draft.
And I'll start a fresh one.
Compose button. Double tap to text field is editing character mode. Insertion point at start.
And I'll touch in the body of the email.
Message body, text field, double tap to edit.
And I'll set my insertion point with a single finger double tap.
Insertion point at end.
Now this time, instead of going to the keyboard and finding the dictate button, I'm going to do a magic tap. As you may know, magic tap is 2-finger double tap. So I'll do that, and as you noticed, when you initiate dictation, you hear a bell chime, and then when you're done dictating, you'll hear another bell chime, after which VoiceOver will immediately read what you've dictated. So let's give it a try. Hey Jeff, new paragraph. Are we still on for our podcast interview tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock? ? Let me know, period. New paragraph. I've been reading the website of our guest, and I'm really excited to interview him tomorrow! ! New paragraph. Please let me know, period. New paragraph. Thanks, new paragraph. Beat.
Inserted. Hey Jeff. Are we still on for a podcast interview tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock? Let me know. I've been reading the website of our guest and I'm really excited to interview him tomorrow. Please let me know. Thanks. Pete.
So, as you heard, that's a distinctly different email. The sound of it is a lot more pleasant, a lot easier to understand. So you heard me use a couple of techniques. First of all, punctuation. I used a comma, a period, a question mark, and an exclamation point, all of which work very well with dictation. You also heard me state new paragraph several times. New paragraph tells iOS to double space before it starts the next line. If I were to have said new sentence, it would have hit a single space or the return button once. Let's talk about capital letters. If I want to capitalize the first letter in particular words in a phrase, such as the title of a book, I'll just say caps on. Here's an example. Caps on. The cat in the hat, caps off, is a dynamite book!
Inserted. The cat in the hat is a dynamite book.
Okay, now let's check it out one letter at a time.
Cap T, H, E, space, cap C, A, T, space, I, N, space, T, H, E, space, cap H, A, T, space, I, S, space, A, space, D, Y, N, A, M, I, T, E, space, B, O, O, K, !
You'll notice that it capitalized only the keywords, specifically the T in the first letter in the title, the capital C in cat, and the capital H in hat. The filler words, the minor words, in the, were not capitalized, as is appropriate when typing the title of a book or the title of an article. If you're typing an acronym where all the letters will be capitalized, you just say caps on before the acronym. For example, I used to work for the caps on IRS, period.
Inserted. I used to work for the IRS.
Now let's check it out one letter at a time.
Cap I, space, U, S, E, D, space, T, O, space, W, O, R, K, space, F, O, R, space, T, H, E, space, cap I, cap R, cap S, period.
There you go. And I have to confess that this is not perfect. Sometimes the timing and the spacing of your dictation will affect how the dictation is actually captured by iOS. But practice. It took me a couple of tries to get this, but I found my rhythm and my spacing, and it seems to work almost all of the time now. Not a perfect science, but practice makes perfect. Another tip is to say the word numeral before a number in order for the actual digit to be typed rather than the word. I'll demonstrate. I tried to dictate the number numeral 6 more than 3 times without success. Period.
Inserted. I tried to dictate the number 6 more than 3 times without success.
All right, let's check out the note.
Note.
I'll turn my rotor to words.
Words. Cap I. Tried to dictate the number.
Now I'll switch back to characters.
Characters. Space. 6.
Got the digit. I'll go back to words.
Words. More than.
Back to characters to see if it picked up the word 3.
Characters. Space. T. H. R. E. E. Space. Words. Times. Without. Success period.
There we go. Again, this is not perfect, and the sentence is accurate. But practice, practice, practice. Believe it or not, you can dictate emojis. Let's try a basic one first. Smiley face.
Inserted. Smiley.
Let's go to the beginning.
Colon. Hyphen. Right paren.
Yes, that's your smiley. Let's try another one. Frowny face.
Inserted. Frown.
Covered it again. Good job. Let's try something a little bit more elaborate. Frowny face with squinting eyes.
Inserted. Frown face with squinting eyes.
Now let's go to the beginning of this and swipe character by character.
Colon. Hyphen. Left paren.
Colon hyphen left paren, which is your frowny face.
Space. Cap F. A. C. E. Space.
Didn't pick up the face with squinting eyes. So we have some limitations, but clearly it can pick up a smiley face and a frowny face. There's no doubt that you're going to make errors in your dictation. This is sometimes because you misspeak in dictating your text, but often it's the iOS dictation feature which misunderstands what you said. You can always fix something that's broken, typographical errors, spelling errors, and one good way to do this is with the use of your rotor. So let me go ahead and dictate a brief sentence with an error in it, bridging the gap between the limited expectations and the reality of blind abilities.
Inserted bridging the gap between the limited expectations and the reality of blind abilities.
Now, I use the word reality. Now, let's say I wanted that word to be realities, plural. Let's see if I can repair that. First of all, I'm going to be sure that my insertion point is toward the end of the sentence because the word that I want to fix is toward the end of the sentence. So I'll double tap.
Insertion point at start of line bridging the gap between the limited expectations and the reality of blind.
I'll stop it, and now I'll tap a second time to be sure the insertion point is at the end of the sentence.
Insertion point at end.
Good. Now I will go to my rotor, and I want to get back a couple of words, so I'll first flick my rotor to words.
Speaking rate, lines, words.
There we go. Now I want to go in reverse, so I will flick my finger up, a one-finger flick up.
Abilities, blind, of.
Now I know that the error that I want to fix is in the word before this, so I'll revert over to characters.
Characters.
Good. I'll flick up one time.
Space.
Now I know that I'm right after the Y, so I'll go to the delete button.
Delete.
Double tap.
Y.
Now I've eliminated the Y. I will type in IES.
I-E-S.
Let me touch in the note and see how it reads now.
Note. Bridging the gap between the limited expectations and the realities of blind abilities.
There we go. So, it's easy to correct spelling errors or punctuation errors, either a wrong punctuation mark or a missing punctuation mark. Just use your rotor and use the most efficient element to get to that spot in your dictation. In closing, I'd just like to remind everybody that, particularly with the advent of the latest iOS versions, the dictation technology is becoming more and more sophisticated, making it easier for anyone to dictate text. I hope that some of the tips and tricks that I've included in this particular demo have been helpful and will facilitate your learning to dictate on a regular basis with accuracy. But also keep in mind that the quality of your dictated content is important as well. Sentence structure, spelling, and grammar in particular is something that we should all pay attention to. Our written products are a reflection on us. Like it or not, our readers, whether they're blind or sighted, will draw conclusions about us as writers, our intelligence, our independence, our professionalism. Particularly for students and professionals, it's critical that your written products be accurate and professional with correct spelling, grammar, and appropriate format. So once again, I hope that the content of this demo will help you achieve the optimal dictated product. So thanks for listening and have a great day. For more podcasts with the blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com. We're on Twitter.
We're on Facebook.
And be sure to check out our free app
In the Apple App Store.
and the Google Play Store.